Hey guys, good morning. This is Molly Navola coming at you live from our Washington, D.C. newsroom. You can see I'm here in Fox 5 Studios. We're going to bring you some cool live pictures. First of all, happy snow day. It's Winter Storm Stella. I don't know how your guys' morning was, but obviously this was anticipated to be a little bit more than it ended up being. I'm here. I got my Dunkin' Donuts this morning, made my trek to the metro, empty streets, nothing going on in Eckington where I live. Trekked down to the Noma Metro, got my Dunkin' Donuts, and now I'm here, and we're going to bring you some awesome live coverage from around the DMV of what the snow looks like today. We anticipated more, but we have a 3-hour delay in government, DC Public Schools, 2-hour delay, and option for telework for the government as well. A lot of other updates are coming. Obviously, Metro bus went back to resume, I want to say, normal service at 7 a.m. So a lot of news that we're bringing to you on our broadcast. But I'm here in the digital. We're going to bring you some cool live pictures. First, we have our reporter Gary McGrady out and about, and I'm going to give you him right here. Take a listen.
Awesome snow day, right? Enjoy. I love that. All right, so let's do let's just do a real.
And you guys can see that's a little bit of behind-the-scenes footage. Gary is in Frederick, Maryland, or so that is where we have. That's what I'm told right now. You can see he's in that downtown little Main Street area, seeing the snow plows going. A lot of beautiful snow out there. A lot more in the suburbs and in more of the country of the DMV, obviously, than the city. If you want to take a little comparison shot. Here is Leesburg, Virginia. Little shot of that. Let's bring you back to Gary here. I think he's got something going on.
I'm loving it. Where are you from? Pennsylvania originally. So finally got a little snow. Yeah, this is awesome.
I never got to see it when I was locked up earlier this year.
What's your name?
Paul Willis.
So you're out in the fresh air.
Yes, I am.
I love it. How much more do you want? A lot of snow?
Oh, no more.
No more snow. All right. Have you shoveled yet?
No.
Are you gonna shovel?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't live in this county. I live in PG. Say strike.
All right, man. High five for the snow day.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
Put me on the TV.
We are. We're going. We definitely are gonna put you on TV. All right. I'll just do it live. Oh, okay.
I mean, if you want to walk down, I can put, you know.
I can come to you, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Tell me when you're ready.
All right, I'm going to start off and you come to you. Here we go.
3, 2. All right, so the snow is lightly falling now. It's beginning to taper off a little bit. This is downtown Frederick. It hasn't been shoveled here. A little sleet has compacted this, but not a lot of wind here in the city. There's probably about 4.5, maybe up to 5 inches or so. And the snow is, again, just light now, and folks are starting to get out. Seems like a lot of people are out walking their dogs already, because, you know, the dogs, they got to get out.
Cool. So that's
Boom.
the intro. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. All right, and you want to do one thing to end it?
Yeah. Do you remember that guy's name?
Patrick, I think he was. The first guy we talked to?
No, that guy, that crazy guy.
All right, and you guys were watching some behind-the-scenes footage. That's our Gary McGrady in Frederick, Maryland, downtown. Looking good. A lot of slush, a lot of sleet. In a minute here, we're going to have Mike Thomas, our weather guy, in-house, come by. He's going to give us a little update of what to expect, sort of what we saw this morning, what to expect later in the day. Once again, we're seeing just a varied amount of inches all over the place. Deeper into Virginia, a little more, deeper into the suburbs of Maryland more, but then DC sort of, I think it got a little less than expected. I think it's a little more manageable. Some people probably a little more disappointed that they're not out of work or out of school necessarily. But this is some cool footage of Frederick. We got that fresh powder coming down. I want to show you quickly too. This is a cool shot that was sent in from one of our viewers, Adam Swiger. This is a little bit west of Winchester. He says there he is. He measured the 8 inches where he is from, Cross Junction, Virginia. He sent that in to us. So kind of a cool picture to look at. A lot deeper than what we were seeing, definitely what we're seeing in DC. Now, back to Gary McGrady. Here he is downtown Frederick.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Right, and we can cut away around. And then and I'll just basically see people are excited. And we're done.
Actually, I'm going to shoot from over here so I can see.
Okay.
And a little shot of the United States Capitol today. There it is. You can't really see much falling. I guess you can see a little bit of that sleet and snow, but that's the Capitol. That's what DC looks like. A little shot of the Capitol. You see a little bit of snow there on the on that lower part with the flag sticking out of it. In just a second, we have Mike Thomas coming up from weather. He's going to come right in here with me and talk a little bit more. Looks like Gary has something to say. Let's go back to Frederick, Maryland.
Ready when you are. 3, 2. All right, so you can see a lot of folks are excited about this, the first snow of the season. It's not the greatest snow we've ever had around here, but all things considered, it's not too shabby. Guys, back into you in the studio. I'll do that again.
I love it. Right outside of Shabby Chic. He's so good. So smart. All right. Looks like we have Tucker Barnes is going to come in to join us from weather, not Mike. I was wrong about that, but you still have that little footage of Gary right here. You can see Frederick, what it looks like. And like he said, first powder of the season, probably the last, but we're going to get confirmation from Tucker all about that in just a second. We'll leave you with that image right here. Quick shot of New York City. This is a shot of New York right now. There's Midtown. Pretty Radio City Music Hall there. Midtown, Manhattan. Looking gorgeous. I think it looked a little bit better earlier on in the morning when the snow was falling a little more around the buildings. Of course, New York City, always gorgeous in the snow. There it is, New York City, Midtown. So we want to know also what you guys are up to today. You can use the hashtag Fox5SnowDay, tweet at us, Instagram at us, anything you want. Also Fox5 Live, that's what you're watching. You can use that hashtag as well. And just so you know, we are at Fox5DC on all platforms. That's Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, of course, Fox5DC and Fox5DC.com. This is Fox 5 Live. Let me bring you back to DC. This is our Capitol shot going inside this time. They are preparing for an event here. We'll get some more information on that coming up. But you are watching Fox 5 Live, the nation's capital. Back to a shot of Leesburg, Virginia. There it is. We just have that stationary shot. You can see the roads. Not too deep of a snow. Looks pretty manageable there on the roads. But I think in just a second we have Tucker Barnes joining us. Come on in. We got a joiner. Here we go.
Yeah. This is the
There he
unscripted
is.
show
Come
where
on
we
in.
talk
Grab
about
that
all
mic.
things
All right.
weather-related, right?
Yep. We're going to have him grab that mic right there on the hook.
I don't see any
on the
mic
wall.
right there.
Got it? I know. Makeshift little hang up.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
So Tucker's been reporting this all morning. Snow first and last of the season. Let's talk to our digital viewers about this.
Okay.
I got a shot of Leesburg that I thought was cool. Obviously seeing more snow in the suburbs, right?
North and west of town. So
Okay.
it depends. So it's been incredible out earlier today. So here's the deal. My radar this morning looked like a bowl of Fruit Loops. I had so many colors on it because we had so much going on. We had heavy rain, we had freezing rain, we had sleet,
Yeah.
and then we had heavy snow. So we had a lot going on. And it really just depends where you were getting up today or where you're watching this morning, because anything from 10 inches of snow north and west to heavy rain overnight in St. Mary's County and a lot of wind. It's been all over the place.
I'm going to bring you this radar here. Hopefully that will do something.
I'm not impressed yet.
Not impressed with the storm. So
How can I tell what we're looking at? Is this us live right here?
this is us live.
Okay.
This is what I have on.
Got
I'll
it.
Take this out. All right, so we have 34 degrees. So we see it. What's the prediction? Freezing overnight. It's not going to be good for melting tonight, right?
So we got a couple more hours where we're going to get a little mixed precip. I think most of the area will turn back to snow for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the winds pick up. Look at the winds there. Out of the north at 24.
Yeah.
Very blustery afternoon, a chilly afternoon. And then tonight a hard freeze. And I think there'll be delays tomorrow because of the hard freeze.
Oh
Likely,
my gosh.
School delays, and some people probably going to work a little bit late tomorrow, even though it'll be partly sunny tomorrow. It's going to be a cold day.
Oh, yeah, so deceiving all the time.
Yeah.
Remind me again, today was 2-hour delay, DC Public Schools? Is that right?
DC, 2-hour delay. Calvert, 2-hour delay. St. Mary's County on time, but everybody else, school canceled.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
the hard part of this day off is the snow's not a whole lot of fun to play in.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard packed, and the sleet we got overnight and the freezing rain, and it's been a bit of a mess across the area. However, we got off easy compared to our friends up in New York and Boston.
I know, I saw. I was going to say, even my hometown, like my school that I used to go to, is out, and that never happened in New
Where's
England.
your hometown?
Outside of Providence, Cranston, Rhode Island.
Oh yeah?
So a little rep to Seatown. Yeah.
Really? You
So
from
New
Cranston?
England. Yeah, and I have family from New England, so we're all used to it's so rare that we're off. And I know our news director Paul McGonigal from Boston, he knows the world of New England, and it's just so.
I was born in Providence.
Is that true?
Whole family's from Rhode Island.
I didn't even know that. Crazy. How do we never make that connection?
Well, we've only known each other for like 2 weeks.
I know.
But now we know.
Wow, we have that bond.
Yeah, so New
Instant.
Englanders are pretty hardy. New Yorkers, they know how to do their weather. And
Yes.
it's literally a blizzard warning.
Speaking of that shot, here's New York right now.
Yeah, I think in downtown New York City, not as tough as outside, but look at the streets covered in snow there.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty.
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I think the nice thing about today is a lot of people haven't used up their snow days for the year. So, the teachers and the students get a break. And
Yeah.
look at me just chilling. Sorry, I'm getting
You're
tired.
chilling. No, we can put you back on here.
I'm
There he
working
is,
hard.
chilling.
Oh,
He's been
no,
working hard
I know.
since 5 a.m., 3 a.m.
Oh,
It's an
yeah.
early morning for these guys.
This chair's
And it's hard to trek out, and when no one's out, it's still icy. I put my L Bean boots on this morning. Get out there. That's the way to do it. Wool
shout out
socks.
to New England.
Shout out. You got
Right?
you got to wear those. You
Yep.
know, it's the only way to go. There's New York again. So you were saying you think the rest of the week we do see some delays in schools? We're not
I think
sure.
certainly tomorrow morning we're going to have delays. Not because it's going to keep snowing, but
Yeah.
because of the refreeze that takes place
Right.
tonight. You got to remember, parts of the area have 4, 5, 8, 10 inches of snow on the ground, and all of that will kind of lock up tonight with temperatures in the teens and low 20s. So
Yeah.
we're likely to have some school delay. I don't know if we'll have cancellations tomorrow, but we'll definitely have delays.
Right, definitely. I know the government employees. I know some personally were hoping to be off today, have a big snowball fight in the streets.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
I don't recommend a snowball fight inside the Beltway because with all that sleet we had,
I know it's
you're
gonna be hard.
You're going to send people to the hospital.
And actually, I think they're still trying to do the Dupont Circle thing where you have Sarah Fraser hopefully covering it. So
Okay. Well, they
I'm
might
gonna see if
wanna-
I can get her, but
I'm not going to get involved in, the
yeah,
do's and don'ts of snowball fights, but
right.
generally speaking, you don't want to send your friends to the hospital.
Right. And so we're hopefully going to bring you that coverage. If we do, I think we have reporter Sarah Fraser out there. We'll see what we get in Dupont Circle. But again, it's not soft snow. It's not the best snow for a snowball fight. Back to this radar. Anything else you can tell us about this? Things seem to be moving north. Is that right?
Yeah, well, let's talk about winds. So the winds gusted to 55 in Rehoboth Beach about an hour ago.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just going to be very, very windy this afternoon. Southern Maryland has and Lower Eastern Shore has a wind advisory. This is we'll call it nor'easter.
Yeah.
And it's just
Totally.
going to bomb off the coast. So as it intensifies, our winds are going to continue to be very strong later today. We may get a little sunshine, but kind of partly to mostly cloudy afternoon. But the good news is we should get the messy mix out of here by, I'd say, 12 or 1.
Yeah, so Washington really did not get the brunt of it. It was most, you can see on that radar, right? That, or I guess it just changed, but that purple-white up top, is that continuing snow? Or
That's
is
heavy
that
snow, yeah.
Heavy snow.
Yeah, we're sort of on the southwest edge of this storm.
Yeah.
Heavier in Philly and then New York and Boston and just west of those big cities. That's where the jackpot is.
Yeah, wow, that is crazy.
All right, how are we doing on time? No, I mean, what time is it? Because I have to go do TV.
We're going on time. Yeah, he's got to go. It's 9:52, so
Okay.
his hit is coming up.
I'm going on. Yeah, I'll be on a good day here in just a minute.
All right, Tucker Barnes, guys, thank you for joining us, Tucker.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Tomorrow, let's talk brackets.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, who
I
you
did
got?
mine. I have Villanova winning.
Again?
Is that too
Yeah,
much
they're
of a
going to win 2 years in a
front-runner?
row,
I know.
right?
I actually was debating that as a choice, but I did that. I just
Well,
get my money in the pool.
I don't know who's watching.
What'd you do?
But
I
I
know.
haven't. I've been busy with the weather, but
I
I'm going to
know.
do it today. Or
You
tomorrow.
are?
Yeah.
We can discuss.
I usually pick my schools based on team colors.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good way.
Yeah. And I do want to mention, let's see, 2 years ago, there were like 80 people in our pool here at work.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I
Did you
came in 79th place.
So a good track record. Yes.
Start at the
Listen,
bottom, work
he's
your way
gonna
up.
move up no matter what.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks, Tucker.
There you go.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining. All right, speaking of NCAA guys, I gotta give a quick shout out to my own alma mater, Wake Forest University, who barely squeaked in for the play-in game, which is tonight against Kansas State. It's gonna be interesting to see. So, a little shout out, go Deeks. Hope to see them move forward and play Thursday night, but it's gonna be an exciting tournament for sure. Let me bring you back quickly to that screen that we had earlier. You can see the wind that Tucker was talking about. A lot of good information there from Tucker Barnes. He is going to go do TV now, so you can catch him on Good Day DC if you want to flip on your TV, or if you're near it, maybe you're just in bed watching on your app, watching on Facebook or YouTube. We are happy to have you. Once again, this is Fox 5 Snow Day. You can use that as a hashtag, or Fox 5 Live. We want to hear what you have to say for sure. And bringing you back to a shot of Leesburg, Virginia. It's a pretty steady shot right there of the snow today. So again, heavy winds, probably not going to melt tonight. Maybe some delays tomorrow due to that ice in the morning, which can be super dangerous. So that totally makes sense what Tucker was talking about. All right, because we need to check our tag board for sure, I'm going to a couple cool shots this morning from viewers that I have to show you that used they used the hashtag Fox5 Snow Day, and these are really pretty shots. So a lot of different varied things in and around the DMV. First from Deborah Arthur, front yard this morning in Inwood, West Virginia. Our oldest finally woke up and is excited to make a snowman. That's a lot of snow out there. That's pretty. Reminds me of Christmassy times. Let's keep going here. Michelle, good morning. Here's my view in Warrenton, Virginia. That was her view this morning. That's pretty. Fox 5 Snow Day. Front Royal, Virginia, out there where we all go tubing in the summer. That's what it looks like. Oh, her pup, super cute. That's a great Twitter pic that she added. And then Rebel Diva says, nothing I haven't handled before. I'm off to class. I feel you, girl. Same thing. I trekked in my boots, but it wasn't that bad. And there were people on the metro. The metro was running a little slower, 10-minute, 12-minute trains, but I was able to grab it this morning. It looks like she's in sort of a citified area, wherever that is, possibly. And then Leesburg, Virginia, like we were showing you. Seems to be an early morning shot. Fox 5 Snow Day. Tim from Leesburg there at 6:30 a.m. Ty Cooper has a wintry mix. 32 degrees there. Rain, sleet, snow, and wind in Arlington. Yeah, you can see those high rises. Definitely looks like an Arlington shot. Fox 5 Snow Day. Annapolis, a little different. Got the pine trees there. Rain and ice bending over. That's pretty. And the Kaufman sent this in from Burlington, West Virginia. As you can see a little deeper, look at that. The depth of that snow right there in West Virginia. We saw definitely a lot more in that area this morning. Upper Marlboro, there's Sarah Fraser, our very own Sarah Fraser. I got her pick in this mix. She was there with a downed tree this morning in Upper Marlboro. And she will be at, I believe, Dupont Circle later. We're going to see if we can get her, see what she's up to. But that's her in front of the tree. That looks good. That was her early this morning. I remember she had a 3 a.m. call. And then Chambersburg, PA, thanks for watching us all the way there, I guess just over the border. A little more country there, too. You get a lot of depth of snow there, a little more than the city. And then we're back to the beginning, Inwood, West Virginia. So just a little bit from our viewers. And we'll take you back. Here's New York City one more time. Pretty shot in New York. You guys are watching Fox 5 Live DC. We're going to bring you live things as they are happening all over the city on this snow day. Super exciting. Not everybody off like they wanted to be, but definitely some delays in the city. All right, guys, and since we were bringing you New York City, this is now Long Island, New York. Quick correction, you guys are watching Frederick, Maryland. Looks like there is a light down. This was not Long Island, New York. That's what we thought it was originally. Looks like a traffic light is down there. Ooh, looks like a tough accident there, or potential accident. That's Frederick, Maryland right now. Coming from us. That's what we got. We're getting that shot right now in Frederick, Maryland. And I'm still waiting on our own Sarah Fraser, who is out and about doing some stuff. And I think she'll end up outside, possibly in Dupont Circle, maybe a little bit later. Unsure, that might have been switched, but we're going to check with her to see what she can get, because apparently there is a snowball fight that is going to be hosted in Dupont as usual. So the first one, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but I was living in Dupont at the time. And I remember the association got together on Facebook and they started this Dupont Circle snowball fight. As you can see, our guys there clearing off the camera. They're in Frederick, Maryland. Still looking at that shot of the down traffic light or something that happened there. But once again, so Dupont, they said if there's actual snow, you know, it might not be that ideal, but they're thinking about having this morning fight there, according to the Washington, D.C. Snowball Fight Association, which, yes, is actually a thing. And they were kind of voting on where they should have it, whether it should be, you know, down near the monuments or what. But the crazy amounts of snow are really outside of the city. So I'm wondering sort of what will happen. I think there's still not 100% guarantee, but we're hoping that we see some sort of fight that we can get footage of to bring you that live. Obviously, like Tucker said, that could be quite dangerous with the icy conditions and the sleet and the ice freezing over to make it a little more dangerous. But yeah, we will be efforting that to you live if we can get it. And guys, I'm going to bring you now a little bit of video that I put together, mixed video from around the country yesterday. This is New York City weather yesterday. So we have a lot of just video coming in from around the country, jump in from different cities, Midwest, Northeast, of course, as Tucker said, the Nor'easter, as they're calling it, New York City, Boston getting plummeted by this storm. So this is some video of New York City weather yesterday. Bad driving conditions. Really, really bad. I think it was even worse in some areas of the Midwest, which we will see in a second. Yeah, there's a loop-in video right here of New York City from yesterday. And then next we'll bring you jumping around to Iowa. Or let's see, that is similar video to what we just saw. We're gonna jump right here. This is Rhode Island, back to my home state here, like we were talking about. I think this is before sort of the big accumulation started, but you can see those flurries from yesterday. It's dark there, so this was taken at night, obviously. Not the best footage, but you can see in the lights of the cars. Just a little mix of winter weather. Winter Storm Stella. Kind of like that name. Guys, don't forget, tell me what you guys think. We are Fox 5 Snow Day. That's our hashtag, and Fox 5 Live. If you're watching, glad to have you guys. Still looking at video here of Rhode Island. This is their winter weather advisory shots just from yesterday. There you go. There's a sign, East Providence, Cape Cod. So around the country, obviously, people dealing with this stuff. And jumping now to some video we got yesterday of Reagan Airport. This is what it looked like yesterday. A lot of snow delays. We had reports on that yesterday. We'll probably have some more updates for you today on our shows. But I was hearing yesterday, Chicago probably had the most, I think, by percentage of delays. And lots of things canceled. Some pretty shots of the airport there. And once again, you guys are watching Fox 5 Live. Thanks so much for joining. I'm Molly Nivola here in the studio. And we're going to make sure we bring you the live footage. That's our Fox box.
We're going to take you back to New York City, waiting for Governor Andrew Cuomo to come out and hold a winter weather press conference. Source for this is...
It sounds like Andrew Cuomo is coming out to hold a press conference in New York City. We'll bring that to you live. So you can hear more about what's happening in New York. But for now, quickly, back to, I want to bring you this old footage of the Dupont Circle snowball fight. There it is. In years past, always a hit. So once again, this is Dupont Circle. Last year, I want to say, or the year before. It's not currently now, but you can see a lot more snow there. In previous years, there's our own Kevin McCarthy. And guys, while we wait for that presser, that live announcement from Governor Cuomo in New York, we're going to bring you here back to Leesburg. That's still what Leesburg looks like. They're still looking pretty white and powdery, not as messy and dirty as downtown or in DC as we've been seeing, but still not quite the snowstorm I think that we were anticipating that we wanted. I'm hopefully having some people playing in the snow or some people that are off today Skype in with me later, so we'll bring that to you live and see what they're up to on their day off, or perhaps they were just delayed, or maybe they're taking today off, but we'll see what people are doing in and about in the city in just a little bit before we come up on Cuomo. And guys, while we're waiting on that, I'm going to bring you to the Senate floor where we have Senator McCain speaking. More info on this as we receive it.
Of the Marine Corps and harms its mission to defend the nation. This kind of behavior is unacceptable for any Marine or any member of the United States Armed Forces. And the actions of our civilian and military leadership, not just in response to these allegations, but at all times, must demonstrate that such misconduct will not be excused or tolerated. Finally, as members of the committee are aware, these allegations surrounding Marine United are currently under investigation by the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Therefore, I encourage members of the committee to please reserve any questions that may be law enforcement sensitive for the closed session to follow. I do not want this committee's proceedings to be construed in any way that might interfere with the swift delivery of justice to those individuals that may have engaged in criminal behavior. Once again, I thank the witnesses for appearing before the committee today. Senator Reid.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for holding this very important session to give the Marine Corps the opportunity to give an initial briefing on what they know and what they don't know about reports of abhorrent behavior by some of our Marines using the Marine United website. It is unusual for the committee to receive a briefing like this one on an ongoing criminal investigation, but this issue is so important that it warrants this kind of attention. However, we must take care to ensure that we don't put the Commandant of the Marine Corps in the position of making statements that later could be alleged as exercising unlawful command influence and therefore disrupting the criminal investigation. The non-consensual posting of explicit photos of female Marines on a public website is repugnant and just plain wrong and inexcusable. All of us who have had the privilege of serving in uniform know the value of a cohesive unit where all members of the unit looked out for each other and took care of each other. I can only imagine the harm that this type of behavior can have on morale and unit cohesion. Our service members must have confidence that their fellow service members always have their back. There simply is no room for behavior that humiliates and degrades a fellow service member. In my view, the Marine Corps must and will attack this problem with the vigor that the Marine Corps has demonstrated time and time again. It should begin with a good, thorough investigation to establish provable facts that can be used to hold offenders accountable for criminal conduct. I will be anxious to hear whether the NCIS has the resources and expertise to fully and completely investigate this matter. If they don't, we need to help them get those resources and that expertise. Once the investigation is complete, commanders will have the task of taking appropriate action based on the findings of the investigation. Aside from the immediate issue of Marine misconduct on the Marine United website, the Marine Corps must also address the culture that allowed or facilitated that misconduct. I'll be interested in hearing about it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching Fox 5 Live. You are watching, we are here live in Washington, D.C., but we are going to jump over to New York City, where Governor Andrew Cuomo is speaking about this nor'easter, about this storm, and sort of what to expect, what to happen. So quickly, a shot of New York City itself. There it is. And now bringing you live to Andrew Cuomo right here.
Less disruption. We have no evidence of any coastal flooding along Long Island. We have no evidence of any power outages of any significance, even though we've had high gusts of wind in the entire metropolitan area. So that is all good news. Less good news, when the storm moved west, it increased the totals in other parts of the state. Mid-Hudson area up to the Capital District has been hit very hard, 18 to 20 inches. Blizzard conditions are still forecasted for the Mid-Hudson and the Capital District, although the blizzard warning for New York City and Long Island has been lifted. We're focusing on the Mid-Hudson and the Capital District. The most hard-hit part of the state is the southern tier, Binghamton, what we call the I-88 corridor that goes up to Albany, and central New York. There, we expect blizzard-like conditions, up to 30 inches of snow. We've issued a travel ban for all of Broome County, and we are currently redeploying assets from New York City and Long Island to central New York and the southern tier. We have 5,000 pieces of equipment, primarily plows, that have been deployed all across the state. We have about 2,000 National Guard who have been deployed all across the state, and will now be shifting those deployments more towards central New York. We had previously announced the tractor-trailer ban on routes 81, 84, 88, 86, and 17, and the New York State Thruway. That will stay in effect. We announced that the Metro North train service would be suspended at Metro North goes up into the Hudson Valley, where we're experiencing significant snowfall. The Long Island Railroad is continuing to operate. New York City buses are continuing to operate. The subway system is continuing to operate, so that's all good news. One of the benefits we had in this situation was people actually heard the forecast and they heard the warnings and they stayed home. Schools were closed, businesses were closed, and that actually worked. The lower volume allowed the first responders and the emergency crews to do their job. People are staying off the roads, which is smart and which I encourage. Stay inside, view this from through the window. It looks beautiful through the window. If you step outside, it is not as beautiful. Trust me, I've been there. So the lower volume actually will allow us to do our job today, so the morning commute, we're in better shape. Also, when things are at their worst, New Yorkers are at their best. This is also the time to be a good neighbor. If you know you have a senior citizen on your block, you have somebody who's homebound, who lives near you, it's a good idea to knock on their door and say hello and make sure everything is okay. But the storm in the New York City area is not as bad as anticipated. Problem is, it is worse than anticipated in other areas of the state. Superstorm Sandy was almost the same thing. Irene, the same thing. It was forecasted to hit New York City. It didn't hit New York City, but it devastated upstate New York. So that's the same type of situation we're looking at now. With that, I will turn it over to Veronique Hakem, who will give an update on the MTA, and then we'll hear from Pat Foy, who will talk to us about the airports.
Thank you, Governor. As the governor noted, many people have heeded his caution to stay off the roads and not travel, so we are seeing significantly reduced ridership this morning, which is a good thing. We have bus service in every borough. We are not running our double articulated buses because they don't do well in the snow and ice, which is the situation we have in the city. But we are meeting all of the demand for bus service. On the subway side, again, service in every borough where we run underground subway service, and that continues. The Long Island Railroad is running a regular schedule this morning. We had the benefit of less severe weather out on Long Island, but we're monitoring that situation very closely as well. On Metro North, as the governor noted, because they run north of the city and in areas of higher snow with significant wind, we will be curtailing service towards a suspension by noon. The railroads are seeing very significant low ridership, literally 10 to 15% of what we would normally see on a weekday. Our plans going forward is to get our service back up and running for a normal AM rush hour tomorrow morning. And I would assure you all that we have 46,000 men and women in the various MTA agencies working hard to create a safe environment for that AM rush tomorrow morning. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie. Pat Foy from the Port Authority.
Thanks, Governor. At the airports, 3 points. One, extensive cancellations at all of them. 99% of the flights at LaGuardia, for instance, have been canceled. Significant number of cancellations at JFK. We expect that number to grow during the day. Second, check with carriers. You can rebook electronically from home. Print boarding passes at home. If you can do that, please do it. Departing passengers tomorrow and Thursday at LaGuardia and JFK should not go to the airport unless you've got a reservation. We expect heavy vehicular traffic to both LaGuardia and JFK. George Washington Bridge and the 3 Staten Island bridges, speed restrictions in effect, 35 miles an hour at the GWB, 25 at the Staten Island bridges, very low volume, again, people heeding the directive of the governor. PATH is operating on normal weekday service, about 5 to 10% of normal weekday volume. Thanks, Governor.
Thanks. Any questions?
The elevated subway, because the storm has not been as bad as initially anticipated, do you anticipate reopening that at some point today?
We don't have a time frame set for that. We have sweeper trains running right now, and we have men and women out clearing platforms and stairs. But as you know, outside right now, there's a sleet condition that we're dealing with as well.
Question on Metro North. I know you said that the storm looks like it's hitting hardest in maybe like the Hudson Valley region. Any chance that Metro North trains will go at least through Westchester or parts of southern Connecticut and not go the whole way up? Or
That's confusing for our customers. I think we're better off by telling people to get to their stations, check the website for the schedule for the station and the train that they need in order to get home safely.
I know you touched upon no flooding reports yet on Long Island, but the National Weather Service is predicting moderate to major flooding on the South Shore. Is that a concern, or has that been?
Sure. It's always a concern. We've been through it a number of times. We are in much better shape for flooding post-Sandy. A lot of this we've learned the hard way, right? We've had more extreme weather conditions over the past few years than almost any period in history. Hurricane Sandy taught us a lot. It especially taught us a lot about flooding. We've done a lot of resiliency work. We've raised homes. We've built seawalls. So we are physically better prepared for that situation, but we're also equipped to deal with the damage that may come. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We don't know what the tidal surge is going to be. It's something that Long Island deals with, right? When you live on the water, the good news is you live on the water. Beautiful view.
And once again, guys, dipping out of that presser with Governor Andrew Cuomo, there's a picture of New York City, what he's talking about. We saw that earlier. It looks pretty much the same. But I want to take you to something that's really interesting. What do you guys think about this? So today, totally back to DC, in Chinatown, and Pizza, you guys know the chain, is doing a series of weddings all day for Pi Day. So today's Pi Day, 3/14. I think we all remember celebrating that in school, in high school. I remember, and I will admit, I'm a bit of a nerd. I was a mathlete, so I was in the math club, and we celebrated Pi Day every year and talked about it and memorized pi and everything. But anyway, back to what this is all about. So today in Chinatown, I'm going to bring you there right now because we have awesome live footage. Our Sarah Fraser is there, and the owner of And Pizza is officiating these weddings. I had the pleasure of meeting Michael, the owner of And Pizza, last week at an event. And this is just a really cool kind of story, and you can see sort of the behind the scenes of this happening right here. I'll bring up the volume a little bit. It sounds like we don't have much on there actually. We're just getting sort of some video on it, but basically what it is they're making this sort of like pop-up at And Pizza as a little wedding chapel today, known for pizza and craft beverages. They are taking Pi Day to the next level, turning it into sort of a Vegas-style wedding chapel for spontaneous pizza-loving couples to tie the knot. We're gonna have a lot more about this on our evening shows. I think the 5 and the 6 possibly. Sarah Fraser is there getting some more information. But there's Michael. You can see him in the middle, officiating the wedding, long hair there. He owns that very successful chain, And Pizza, which is spread across the district. So this is kind of a cool, just little side story for today, for Pi Day. It's 3/14, pizza lover's wedding. I personally am a huge pizza lover. I think it's my favorite food in the world. I'm actually not kidding about that. It's all the food groups. I love it. And you can see there just everything, music, flowers, photographer. They got pizza. They got a cool background. The mural, there's Michael. Yeah, I don't unfortunately have any sound on this. Oh, maybe a little bit. Hear that background. But kind of a cool little story there in Chinatown at the And Pizza in Chinatown. I guess I'm reading too that there's limited walk-in weddings available until this shop closes. So you can, there's actually information on contacting them. You could walk in and do that. It just sounds like a really easy way to sort of get the knot tied. I don't know. There we go. There's a little bouquet throw.
Great. Okay. I'll stick my plan back over here.
There's our Sarah Fraser. You can see her there getting the info. She'll have more on all of this tonight. I believe she's putting together a story. It's kind of cool. This is a cool little feature story. Just little happenings in DC, lifestyle things that are really interesting. And Sarah gets to cover them. She does the best stuff.
you anyway, but then my handwriting's really
so
bad.
amazing.
So just don't judge me.
No, we're just so good.
And I skipped like 3 paragraphs. It was so long.
Yeah, let's do a little toast too when they're on Fox. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's
I'll probably
do a little.
drink this before that.
Okay, well,
I have another cup over there. I have another cup over
so
there.
just keep mingling, and then I'm gonna come.
You'll come get us?
Yeah.
I know. Oh, girl.
This is out. That's really good. Okay. Great. We're about a minute and a half away.
You guys can see here, Sarah's about to come up, and we'll take her little live shot or whatever she's going to do for us, so you can see it sort of behind the scenes and then see what she has to say.
I know my friends. I'm like, that was gluten-free. Okay, everybody's okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll call you all in. We'll go with it.
Nobody needs to know where we're at. More like my entire government name. Also. It's true. It's true. Even marriage. You have to sign. I learned that you have to sign. I learned something.
Oh, yeah, I think I am a bridesmaid. Absolutely. I'm just a tad too old for the flower girl role, so I'll go with that. We just had the wedding ceremony. It was absolutely beautiful. They are officially married. Cheers! Yay! Woohoo! You did it! You did it! So how does it feel to be married?
It feels good. I feel calm. It feels right.
I love that you said that you meditated this morning.
I did. Yeah, I did. When I came in the door, I felt relaxed. I felt ready. This is my best friend. So it feels completely right to do this.
Your vows were beautiful. This is Alicia, by the way, and Keandra, and now you're officially married. Keandra, how do you feel?
I feel the same as I did about an hour ago, which is probably a good thing.
No reservations. That's good.
Your vows were beautiful, which you have, and you also have your marriage certificate.
We do.
Here, I'll hold that. Tell me about your vows were gorgeous. People were crying here. It was just really, really touching. So how long did those take to write?
It didn't take very long, and to be fair, I feel like we have a very a compelled crowd. So they were very engaged. So the crying might not be an indication of my skillful writing, but it took me about a couple of hours, and I kind of went to it, I left it, I came back to it. So
oh my God,
yeah.
They were beautiful. I don't even know you two, and I was like, oh my God, I love this love story. Michael, how are you holding up? Were you in tears too?
I'm a little shaky. That was emotional, but that was special. What a great way to kickstart the day. Come rain or snow, we're going to be here all day doing this. Thank you, Keanu and Alicia. That was incredible. The vows were moving, they were special, and they represent everything about this and why we do this on Pi Day.
Oh my God, it really was special. I mean, you know, the concept is so great, but this is the first time I've witnessed it, and I have to say there's something really magical. You've created a really great moment.
Thank you. And it's really about, the couples here today that are coming together and joining their chosen and pizza because of what that symbol means to them and what, it's just really, really special.
It was terrific. Guys, we're toasting down here. The pizza is out. The crowd is really amazing. And this is just like one and well dressed. Oh my God, everybody looks terrific. Do not zoom in on my LL Bean boots, okay? Don't do it. Do not. No, I'm like the worst dressed. It's terrible. Anyway, it's a beautiful day down here and more weddings to come all afternoon. Are you guys so excited? Cheers! We love love. All right, guys, to you. To you, to you.
And that was Sarah Fraser in Chinatown. She is hilarious, and I love it. And we are wearing matching boots, of course, the LL Bean boots that you have to wear on a snow day. She's from Maine, so we have that in common. My mother's from Maine, so little cheers to Sarah there. She does such a great job, and I can't tell you enough how nice and how sweet Michael is. He's the owner of the Am Pizza conglomerate, the chain across DC, and he is such a caring guy and so fun to hang out with. I had the pleasure of meeting him last week or 2 weeks ago at an event of their opening in the Hotel Hive, that new micro hotel in Foggy Bottom, and he is just so sweet. So to see him doing this, it totally makes sense that he'd be doing this. So we will jump out of that. Sarah Fraser there in Chinatown. Take a look at the White House right now in Washington. There it is, snowy White House, the monument right behind it. So just a couple inches of snow in DC. I think they were saying 2.7 were the totals earlier this morning. Not too crazy. Definitely not the extent that we saw in other cities like other towns rather, out in deeper Virginia. Let me bring you this picture really quickly, which I brought you before, of one of our viewers who sent this in, 8 inches out in Cross Junction, Virginia, out by sort of a little bit west, I think, of Winchester, Virginia. So way out there, a lot more snow, almost like 3 or 4 times the snow that we saw here in DC. So there is the White House today. We're going to be bringing you live pictures of things everywhere around the country. Of course, the snow mostly in the Northeast, also a little bit Midwest, and down here just touching us a little bit. We'll bring you those events live. I'm going to take you over to our tag board now. We have some new pictures that had come in, but I'll also show you what we saw earlier this morning from some of our viewers who used our hashtag Fox5 Snow Day. This is Cumberland, Maryland. So pretty. All the snow lining the trees there. Oops, let me get back into that. This is our tag board. There we go. Cumberland, Maryland there. Jumping through, we had some other pictures from viewers dreaming of a midsummer night in Reston. That's what Reston looked like earlier. Erica tweeted that in, and oh yeah, this is so true. Poor and confused daffodils. Do we stay or do we go? That's what I'm wondering about the cherry blossoms. What is happening? Hopefully we can have someone speak to that, maybe today or tomorrow, Mike or Tucker. In weather, will talk to us more about what is expected for that, because no one really knows. Are they going to bloom as normal? Cherry blossoms, but look at these daffodils. They don't really know what to do. That's a pretty shot. And there's Sarah covering the crazy weather in Upper Marlboro. That's where she was earlier before Chinatown. That downed tree there in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Chambersburg, PA. Jean sent this in this morning. That looks pretty snow covered. That's a beautiful shot, morning shot there. Inwood, West Virginia, our front yard from Deborah. Our oldest finally woke up and is excited to make a snowman. That definitely looks like snowman making material there. The powder, the light type of snow that sticks together. Although now I'm being told the ice is making it a little harder for that. Definitely here in DC. Here's Warrenton, Virginia earlier this morning. And Front Royal, Virginia with the pup enjoying the snow. Rebel Diva says, nothing I haven't handled before. I'm off to class. Fox 5 Snow Day Got to go to work, got to go to class just like any other day. Wasn't too bad, was it? Leesburg, Virginia earlier, and we brought you some live pictures of Leesburg as well. That looks like before much was sort of plowed out in Leesburg. Ty Cooper bringing us earlier this shot overlooking Arlington, Virginia. Wintry mix of rain, sleet, and snow. That's what I woke up to. I actually woke up, it was like midnight, and I woke up to hail and like loud popping noises on my windowsill. Just like it sort of woke me up at midnight at 1 a.m. and it was just sort of like, I was like, oh man, it's just gonna be another ice over. It's not really snow. And then when I woke up, I saw sort of the few inches of snow, but they really were covered with that sheet of ice. So I'm right there with you. That's exactly what I experienced this morning. Here's some pine trees in Annapolis. The top's bending over from the ice. Rain is creating the ice coating. Burlington, West Virginia. A lot of snow. Oh,
what's going on?
And we got a visitor. Thank you so much, Mike Thomas. Come on in. Can you grab that mic?
Where is it? I'm about to sit on it.
Oh, you are? You got it.
Got it.
We had Tucker earlier, but this is Mike. So I thought I was going to have Mike earlier, but now we have him. Yay! So, okay, we got the update from Tucker about what we're expecting. Recap sort of the latest right now on the weather. What is going on in D.C.? D.C.'s not that hard hit, right?
It's winding down. I mean, I would say it was semi-hit hard overnight, more so with sleet and ice than it was snow. But I mean, widespread reports of 2 inches plus here in D.C., which is not bad. We were hoping for more. I mean, this was like winter's first and last hurrah. So
right.
We were hoping for more. We got what we got. Hey, it's still our biggest snow of the season.
Right, the first and the last, they're saying? Is that right?
That's certainly possible. I mean, we're late in the season. We don't do March snows as it is very often.
Right.
So a 2-inch snow in March is... It's not bad. We'll put it that way.
Let's bring up this. Oops. Let's bring this
What are we bringing up? Radar?
Yeah, a little radar.
So you can see what's kind of going on there is... I mean, the worst of the storm is now pushing off to the north and west. Hey, if you're like waking up disappointed that you only got 2 inches of snow, I'll tell you what. Imagine being waking up in New York City this morning because they have pulled their forecast back from like 2 inches of or 2 feet of snow back down to 2 inches of snow. So that's how difficult these storms are to forecast from like my perspective and Tucker's perspective.
Right.
If this storm comes up the coastline 100 or 50 miles closer to the coast than models say it does, that rain snow line, it'll bomb out and totally ruin the forecast. And
oh my gosh.
That's what's happening up north today. Here I didn't think we did so bad. We had the pullback yesterday afternoon.
Right.
But we ended up on the lower end of most of our totals, admittedly. But that's still in range.
So that's hilarious. I still remember yesterday, Mike and Tucker both had incognito costumes.
Yeah,
because they were like, don't blame us if we're wrong, I think.
Actually, we felt a lot better when we came in this morning. And by the way, it's almost a shame we didn't bust because Tucker and I had a ton of bits planned for like how we were gonna like get through the bust, but
that might have been fun.
It didn't bust nearly as best as we thought.
What happened yesterday afternoon? They pulled back sort of what was expected. Is that what happened yesterday?
Where here?
You guys were gone. The morning show was gone, and later at night.
No, we actually pulled it back before we left.
Did.
So we get a round of models that comes in like why we're sleeping. We looked at it this morning or yesterday morning, and we had the totals that was showed on the show. Then the afternoon models rolled in and said that rain snow line's going to dance up a little farther, and like it did. I mean, you see on the radar there, the rain snow line kind of those first couple frames in D.C., Montgomery County, Howard County, which is farther than say what it looked like on Sunday and on Monday. So it looked like we here in D.C. were going to have 6 to 12 inches of snow. But the farther that little line dances up to the north and west, the less we get here.
Yeah. So we really did okay.
Well, once we pulled our numbers back in the afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, we did okay from there.
Okay.
But Tucker and I felt much better than both of us thought we would when we walked in here this morning.
Okay, yeah, right. And you had little bits planned. Any predictions for the rest of the winter season? I mean, what are we gonna see?
We'll be chilly, I think, through. We might squeeze out a 70-degree day here, but I don't see any extended warmth.
Yeah.
As we get into April, I think we're gonna have to have to wait till the end of the month or early April to get back to the warmth.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about the cherry blossoms and how they're all going to die?
I do, because, okay, we had this Twitter picture of someone with their daffodils, and I was kind of relating it to the cherry blossoms, and I was like, wait a minute, let me talk about that with somebody, and then you came in, which was perfect, but is it true they're going to die, or will they be able to bloom, and then...
No, because here's the problem. I mean, they just tweeted Holly, we just showed it on TV here,
oh, okay.
that the National Park Service was like, hey, they're a little icy, because they got some ice down there, but they survived the storm, which is fine. They probably would have, just because temperatures overnight last night were only like 30 degrees. So they've said before, you need 27, 26, 25, 24 degrees to kill them.
Okay.
Problem. We're going to be there, if not tonight. We'll be close to that tonight. The water might save them down there tonight.
Wow.
But the next night, so on Thursday morning, we're probably in the teens, if not 20 degrees. So that day is going to do a number on them. The other thing, I'll rewind it here. The other thing I'm worried about tonight and tomorrow is the winds for the cherry blossoms, because the winds are really going to pick up down there, 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts.
So there's two big factors, the cold and then the winds blowing them off.
So if the blossoms are still a little icy tonight, when the winds kick up, you could do some damage there.
Oh my goodness. So likely we're looking at damage.
I still think we're looking at damage. I don't think it's a total loss. It never seems to be a total loss.
I know. That's what I was thinking too.
But yeah.
Because we've had years past where it's just like, oh my gosh, they're going to be done. But there's so many, and they're surrounding the whole.
And there's different types, and some trees will bloom somewhere.
Okay.
But it's not going to be like the most gorgeous year.
Yeah.
But it'll still look pretty. It always does.
When do you think if anything, it'll be next week that they pop? It may be, or not even.
Next week it'd probably be next week. Did they push back the dates, or is it still?
They pushed it because originally it was this week, which is crazy. It was this week. It was 14 to 17 was the first thing.
Right.
Then they pushed it back.
And we said, I remember sitting here with you, and I'm going, I'm going to push that back.
Yeah, they pushed it back officially to, I want to say, the next week, but I want to even say with this freezing, I think they're probably going to push it back.
I wonder if they push it back one more time. I could see it blooming next week's not overly warm, but it's not overly cold either.
Yeah.
So
sad things, because a lot of people plan their trips for this. They plan their cherry blossom trip, and now I even have a good girlfriend that was visiting this week, and I was like, get ready, bring your boots. Like, we're not done with winter.
Oh, going out this weekend?
So, I mean, we're gonna go out this week. We're gonna go to some dinners and like hang out this week, and I think we still are, but it's like, it's funny because it was originally, oh my gosh, it's going to be beautiful and blooming.
Well, see,
and it's not.
That's the problem with DC, and no one does it like DC does, is where we get like 80 degrees in February, and then we'll go off the cliff as we get into springtime.
I was literally talking about that. Yeah, I was like 70 in February, 20 in March this year. That's what it was.
Yeah, 80. It was. We hit 80. I forget if it was March 1st or late February. I think it was March 1st. We hit 80 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
And now we're waking up to snow on the ground.
Isn't that nuts? It's the Mid-Atlantic thing. Yeah, and you're used to that because you do this every year, and you know.
Right. And I grew up here, so I'm used to these ups and downs.
Right.
This year was a bit extreme, but
yeah. Sidebar. Any prediction for like heat and humidity this summer? What do we think? What are we looking at now? Or
I haven't set. I do that kind of stuff. I look at the seasonal stuff. I didn't do too well this winter, so I'm kind of gathering my marbles together again and trying to put my confidence back together. But eventually I'll get it back together, and then I'll do a summer one. I think it looks normal-ish, which means hot and humid here.
I know.
So.
Which it is. So
it always, every summer, it's like, I don't think there's ever been a summer here where it's just like, that summer was great.
Or at least more mild than usual sometimes. But yeah, one last look at our radar here. Any last comments?
I think Tucker hit it when he was in here with you. We got this little form down towards Charlottesville. That's kind of what we call a deformation zone, which is where the atmosphere is going to try and stretch itself. And when it stretches itself, and this might go over people's heads, but when it stretches itself, basically it's going to try and squeeze out whatever moisture's left.
Yeah.
And that could kick up another round of snow here as we work our way into kind of the early afternoon period. Just don't be shocked. It won't put out a whole lot, maybe a dusting to an inch on top of what you already have.
Oh, really?
But we don't want anybody to be shocked if they look out their window.
And it is again snowing.
Yeah, we don't want to cause another panic.
But likely it's an ice over tonight. It's going to be cold tonight.
There's no doubt about that. It's going to be very cold tonight, so anything left that's just sitting out standing on the roadways will freeze
Cover over.
pretty hard.
Whew.
And yeah, we
Danger.
could do school closings and delays again tomorrow. I don't think nearly as many closings. Sorry,
Yeah.
kids. There could be 1 or 2 north and west school wise because they did get 10 inches of snow up towards Frederick and Hagerstown and those locations, so they could close. I've seen them do it before.
DMV. Yeah. Where are you from again? You're from.
I'm from the College Park, Calvin, and Beltsville area.
Okay.
So just north of the metro.
Yeah, that's right.
So, literally just north of the metro.
Literally, you can just trudge there.
I could have walked to it from the house where I grew up.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
495.
So, are we looking at maybe government delays tomorrow? We don't know.
Think so. Probably not. My guess is if they didn't close today, probably not a delay tomorrow.
They didn't close, I know.
They had 3 hours, so better than nothing.
Yeah.
DC schools was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Mostly because every county around DC closed, and just DC didn't. That was a surprise. But,
definitely.
And DC probably, my gut feeling is they probably won't delay tomorrow. If you weren't closed today, I don't think your odds are very good of a delay tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't think Prince George's has good odds either of a delay, even though they closed today.
Even though, and they're a little on the out, they have some of those country back roads that are snowed over.
Yeah, but they tend to do a pretty good job, and their cleanup is not nearly as bad as, say, Montgomery County or Fairfax County or Loudoun County. I think it's counties mostly west of town that we see the delays tomorrow. But who knows? I don't make those calls, and everybody will get cold, and we'll have some ice in the morning.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mike Thomas, for joining us. We got
no
2 of your weather guys today, Tucker
by the
and
way,
Mike.
we're on at 4 again tomorrow, which means less sleep for me, and I'll see you nice and bright and early.
So he's gonna get some sleep.
Yay!
Now you are on at 4 to report the update on this stuff, right? So just to get it out there.
Wait, what? One more time?
Anything special? Or anything special about the tomorrow's report? Or is it different?
We're just going on early to cover the delays and everything.
Oh, just early to cover the delays.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Unless they told me something else.
Okay.
But that would be my assumption.
So take a look. He'll be on early, and now he's probably going home soon. Time for...
Oh, you're daggone right I am. We're
You didn't
gonna
want to come in
here
here.
Shortly. We're going to go home, walk the dog, and get a good nap in.
Yes, you should. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Thanks
No
for
problem.
joining. We're going to bring you back. Here's our radio. You can take a look as Mike exits our little digital room. Thanks again, Mike.
No problem. Take care. Loving the YouTube vids.
We'll probably talk to you tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye. All right, guys. Thank you so much again for joining us. This is Fox 5 Live. I'm here in the studio. You can see behind me our TOC control room, and we're here in this little basement newsroom. I am Molly Nivola, and I'm here for you, bringing you the live action of what's going on around DC. I'm hoping to have a friend, someone kind of playing in the snow, Skype in with me later, just so you can see kind of the action of what's going on in some of the neighborhoods, Capitol Hill or wherever those people might be. But for now, we do have a little live action on the Senate floor, still where we saw Senator McCain earlier. And we see, let's see, this is discussion about the scandal with the Marines, which we talked about earlier in the week.
And ended up with an adjudication. But those are just numbers. As you clearly and rightfully state, this is a problem with our culture. And I'm still in the process. I mean, I don't have a good answer for you. I'm not going to sit here and duck around this thing. I'm not. I'm responsible. I'm the commandant. I own this. And we are going to have to, you've heard it before, but we're going to have to change how we see ourselves and how we treat each other. That's a lame answer, but ma'am, that's the best I can tell you right now. We've got to change, and that's on me.
My time's expired.
Senator Cotton.
I was very disappointed and troubled to read this news recently, as were all members of this committee and most Americans, no doubt. I am reassured by the comments of General Neller and the Sergeant Major this morning about how serious they take it and the gravity with which they treat it. General Neller, you mentioned that there are 30,000 members of this group. You don't have the breakdown of active versus reserve versus retired. Any indication yet of the breakdown between Marines NCOs and officers?
Not in specific numbers. I think we're going to get that information, Senator. But I'm not going to speculate on what the level of officer involvement is or isn't. But I think the NCIS folks can tell you that. I don't know the number. I'd be speculating, but I wouldn't say this is. It's highly unlikely this is just enlisted, but it doesn't really matter. You know, what these members, and I just remind that, not to stick up for Marines United, but the great majority of people that went to this site, and there are other sites. I mean, we find sites all the time. I mean, we're looking out there, and NCIS is looking, and people are telling us about other sites. So Marines United is not alone in this despicable, disgusting behavior. But I think eventually we'll know the breakdown, not just who was a member of Marines United, but who went to this other link and participated in this behavior.
Regrettably, I'm afraid.
Sir, if I could add.
Yes, Mr. Stackley.
To date, we are dealing with cooperative information. In other words, we're trying to draw information short of probable cause in which we can seize the information. We're gaining it cooperatively. NCIS has opened up a tip line. They have received, as of yesterday, 53 calls on that tip line that's opening up other avenues to help to identify individuals, but also to identify these other sites that the Commandant has referred to. And my opening statement, I call this a bell ringer. This is a bell ringer. We're not going to go back. We need to plumb the depths of this issue to understand how far, how wide it is, and then working up and down the chain of command, whether you call it culture, whether you call it good order and discipline, get not just every Marine, every man, woman in uniform to understand what our standards are, what is and is not acceptable on one hand, and on the other hand, prosecute these other avenues where this behavior is taking place to the extent of our ability. We're not going to go backwards.
We have spoken at this hearing this morning quite a bit so far about law and policy, and those are important questions. I want to speak just a matter about the expectations we have for the young men and women we have in uniform, putting aside law and policy. Back when I was a company grade officer and we had to do safety briefs every Friday afternoon to ensure that if our soldiers misbehaved on the weekend, we could tell our chain of command that we had ordered them not to do so. Rather than get into every single detail that soldiers might do over the weekend, I would simply say, obey your general orders in the law and be a good soldier, a good citizen, and a good man. I assume that your company grade officers and company grade NCOs do something similar on weekends or before passes. Putting aside the requirements of law and policy, General Neller, do you believe every Marine should know that this kind of conduct violates the spirit and the ethic of the Corps?
Senator, you would think, after all the discussion and all the training and the things that we've done, that people would understand that this type of behavior was unacceptable. But apparently whatever we've done or tried to do is not worked, or we haven't been clear, or people think that they can go on social media with some persona or avatar or character. But as Senator Gillibrand rightfully stated, I mean, some people use their full name in their unit.
Yeah.
And because they participate, the frustration is what is a crime and what is not, as opposed to, boorish, stupid behavior. And this is beyond that. So that's where we are in working through that right now.
Sergeant
Major. I believe, and if they don't, they should now. And Commander, myself, I'm going down to Camp Lejeune tomorrow. I'm going to talk to people and make sure they try to make this as crystal clear as I possibly can.
Sergeant Major, if I could just ask you one question.
Your time has expired. Senator Blumenthal.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. use the words Commandant Neller, despicable and disgusting. That certainly is a feeling that everybody on this panel shares with you. And I think also many of us share the passion and impatience that Senator Gillibrand expressed very powerfully, because there have been instances in the past, and your acknowledgement that perhaps the past violations of trust and law have not been addressed sufficiently aggressively may give us some comfort here. But I think we're all going to watch closely and demand from you not just the words that you've given us, which we trust, but also action, which speaks louder than words. Do you know personally of any commanders who had knowledge of this site before it was disclosed?
No, Senator, I don't.
And do you believe that the same kind of aggressive discipline should be focused on the chain of command as well as on the perpetrators who were involved in the immediate conduct, if they had knowledge?
I do.
And will you assure us that you will take aggressive action against them?
I do.
You mentioned earlier that you thought that non-judicial punishment was appropriate for the Marines who may have been involved, or at least many of them. Would you agree that the Uniform Code of Military Justice should be applied as aggressively as possible in these instances, and that violations should be prosecuted to the full extent of penalties that can be achieved?
Let me clarify my comment. When I said non-judicial punishment has applicability, it does, but you know, whether that is the level at which these allegations are adjudicated is up to the chain of command. All I was trying to imply is that that is a tool available to commanders. If the act is more egregious, then there would be other venues, more serious venues available to commanders.
Would you agree that the chain of command may be unable to prosecute as aggressively as possible if, in fact, there are allegations within the chain of command that ought to be pursued?
I don't think that should make a difference. I mean, it might cause a commander, if someone or their subordinates was complicit in this, you know, but a violation is a violation. We're all accountable.
But that might make it more difficult for someone to take action against a fellow Marine who was within the chain of command. Would there be some process, even now under existing law, and we've sought to reform or change it, to make sure that there is accountability?
We select our commanders based on their skill and their ability and their potential to command. They have got to make the hard decisions, and so if that involves, and we've all done it, if that involves disciplining somebody that is in the chain of your own chain of command, or that you know, then that's what you do.
And two articles of the Uniform Code of Military Justice have been mentioned, 120 and 134. Neither specifically prohibit cyberbullying. My thought has been that perhaps there ought to be a specific provision that is applicable to the conduct involved here, which in effect is a form of cyberbullying. Would you support such a provision?
We've had discussions about whether or not the UCMJ has the ability to address this. To me, we've stated what behavior in cyberspace is acceptable and not acceptable. To me, that is the weight of a Article 92, disobedience of an order. So 120C addresses specifically the taking someone's picture without their permission and using it, and 134 would address good order and discipline and those things. So I believe the tools are there. If that's the level of punishment or administrative action you wanted to go to, if the facts support that. But I think there may be some discussion about, I think that's something that we're going to get into with this task force, that whether there are provisions within the UCMJ that may need to be more specific about this particular type of potential offense, because this is not new, but there's got to be some tools for commanders to be able to address this specifically.
Senator, if I could add, on cyberbullying, we hypothetically are talking about ways we could prosecute it through the UCMJ, but it hasn't been tested yet. And so your question regarding is there value in getting into greater detail specifics within a specific article, I think the task force which the Commandant has launched, I think that's central to one of the areas that they are in fact looking at, and we need to keep it on the plate, and we need to come back to you with specific recommendations.
Senator Ernst.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Those who participated in these disgusting and horrible actions have not only failed our Marine Corps, they've failed the men and women who wish to join your ranks, and they have failed our country. And I'm not as eloquent as some of the other members on this panel. All I can do is express to you how disappointed I am. I'm very disappointed. General Neller, I hope that you can convey the concerns you've delivered to this committee today directly to your Marines, not through a press conference, not through your designees, but directly to as many Marines as you possibly can. Implementing change to this type of behavior begins at the ground level, and you are a leader, sir. As reports continue to come in across the DoD, it's clear that this seems to be service-wide. This is service-wide, and so we need a service-wide approach to addressing this issue. This is a cultural problem, not just in our military, but society at large. And hearing that many individuals were not surprised about these reports disappoints me. Hearing that there may not be a way to hold many of the people that were involved in this accountable, that angers me. Illegal or not, members of our community need to know this type of activity creates a culture that leads to sexual assault. Those that sat complacently by as this unfolded, from the NCOs to the officers, are all contributing to this issue. There is no excuse, and you have stated that, General Neller. I appreciate that greatly. There is absolutely no excuse for this, especially for those who wear our nation's uniform. The steps that you now take moving forward following this event will define each of us before this committee. Regardless of what legal or administrative action you are able to take, I hope this leads to you personally sitting down, and you, Sergeant Major, as well, sitting down and educating our Marines. A social media handbook has been discussed by a number of folks here on the panel, but how many Marines actually read that? How many sit down and read it? It is up to all of us to educate our Marines. The Marine Corps has a high turnover rate. We have thousands of Marines coming through every year, and we have to make all of them aware of what they represent. They need to know that the actions they take here at home and online can take away from the success of their brothers and their sisters in arms. This is an absolute issue that impacts our entire society. It's an absolutely horrible issue impacting us, but it's one that we must stop. And I say we, it's not just the Marine Corps, it's those of us that are sitting here today. We will be evaluating how to give you the right tools, the necessary tools to combat this issue. And absolutely, you must hold those Marines accountable. In the meantime, I hope that you will continue to evaluate what we need to do to combat this issue, not just in the Marine Corps, but service-wide, and what we need to do to impact society at large. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Donnelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Marines who did this have betrayed their fellow Marines. And these women Marines stood up and said they would put their lives on the line for this country and give them up if necessary. And this is the treatment they got in return. But they've also betrayed those Marines who fought in Anbar Province, in Helmand Province, in the Gulf, in Vietnam, in Korea, in Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, who built the Corps inch by inch, step by step. And these Marines who have done this have disgraced themselves, but they also let down the Corps and all of those other Marines who fought for our country and to help create the Corps. I went online and found that there's already a Marines United 2.0, posting links to the same materials that already has over 3,000 members. What can be done about this? And what does that say? General?
Sir, if the Marines United 2.0 is there for their original mandate to help veterans, that's fine. But if there is a link that takes anybody who can get access to a similar page where there are posted pictures of anybody, but more likely female Marines, and when they're making commentary, we will go like we did before, and we will ask the provider to take it down. But that's where we find ourselves, and again, that's where we find ourselves. Now, whether we can get the information or get make them hold that data for us. You know, we've recently, in this investigation with Marines United, NCIS recently got some more information, so that should allow us to get to that. But again, you know, we're addressing the symptom here. The problem is that anybody would even want to do this in the first place.
Right.
I mean, that's the part, you know, and I get beyond this doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, they're doing it. Why? What is it that makes anyone feel that they're going to make themselves feel better by being degrading about any individual, whether it be based on their gender or their race or their sexual preference? If they are indeed a Marine, or anybody, it doesn't matter. You know,
if you guys are just joining us, I just want to fill you in on what is happening here. These are Senate briefings on Capitol Hill with General Neller of the Marine Corps. Of course, earlier, and you might have heard about this, the nude photo sharing scandal that rocked the Marine Corps earlier last week or 2 weeks ago or so. So this is one of the hearings that they've scheduled. The Senate Armed Services Committee having this open hearing. I think it started around 10 a.m. And you're hearing obviously some powerful words from General Neller himself about obviously what he thinks about it and what they plan to do going forward. But it is pretty interesting, so I'm going to keep it up here for just a second longer.
Disrespecting you. They're saying that.
The gentleman's time has expired. Senator Sullivan.
Oh.
Mr. Chairman, I believe you had 1 minute and 23 seconds left.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I wanted to say is they're basically challenging you, General. They're thinking that they can get away with this. And you're the commandant of the Corps, and I think it's up to you, and I trust and believe you will tell them and show them that they are not bigger than the Corps, that they cannot treat their fellow Marines like this. What do we say, and how can the women Marines feel that the Corps has their back. I mean, I think that's when a young woman makes a decision that, number one, she wants to serve the country and put her life on the line for us. Why will she choose the Marines? How do we reinstate that trust that we have her back?
The only way we can, Senator, is through our actions, and that show that anyone who sticks their hand up to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and wants to has the willingness to earn the title Marine is going to be a full-fledged member of the team, like the two female Marines sitting behind me here. We've got to make them believe it. We've got to earn. They don't have to just earn the title Marines. We got to earn their belief that they're going to get the same opportunity as anybody else to compete and be the best person they can be. So I can sit here and say it, but we've got to re-earn the trust of not just of them, this committee, and the American people. I understand that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My apologies, Senator Donnelly, for cutting you off.
No worries, sir.
Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to begin by thanking Senator Gillibrand for her calling for this hearing and her unfailing advocacy for women in the military. Like you, General, I'm a father of 3 daughters and also spent a lot of my civilian career focused on combating the problem that Senator Ernst mentioned is a problem not only in the military but across the country of domestic violence and sexual assault. And I think Senator Gillibrand's focus on this benefits the military and the country. I also appreciate your and Sergeant Major's opening statement to say you're going to take responsibility for this. I think like everybody on this committee, General, when I first read the news about the Marines attacking and degrading other Marines, it's what Senator Donnelly just mentioned, I was outraged, disgusted, embarrassed as a citizen, as a lawmaker, and as a Marine. And I'm here in this capacity as a U.S. Senator, but earning the title of a Marine is the proudest personal achievement of my life, always has been, always will be. You know, we talk about that there's been no more formidable fighting force in the world, but the Marine Corps, in my view, goes much deeper than that. I mentioned a story last year. I was walking down the street on Capitol Hill. There was a mom and 2 young kids, a boy and a girl, walking by me, and a group of 8th and I Marines in PT gear coming out. Strong, formidable. And they passed this family, and this mom looked at her kids and said, those are Marines. They're courageous, they're fearless, and they'll do anything to protect our country and keep us safe. That's what mothers in the country are telling their kids. So this goes way deeper than this. I believe that the Marine Corps can't prevent Marines from attacking and degrading women Marines. The Marine Corps is going to lose what it means to the country, to the Marine Corps, to other Marines. So, General, you talked a lot about a perversion of the culture. What do you mean by that?
Well, Senator, like you, I believe all Marines have a belief that our motto, Semper Fidelis, our core values of honor, courage, and commitment are what we are. And that everything that we've seen in this Marines United event is not. And so anybody that's out there involved in this or any other site or doing this, and this is, as has been accurately pointed out, this is something that's been out there for some time. I don't know how they think they can reconcile being a Marine with this. It just doesn't, I don't mentally see how you get from A to B.
One of the things about the Marine Corps and all military services, but particularly in the Marine Corps, there's a culture, and it's part of what we do, is we bring violence to the enemies of our nation, and we're good at bringing violence upon the enemies of our nation. Isn't the perversion of the culture where the Marines are actually bringing violence upon women Marines? Isn't that the perversion of the culture? Which every Marine who's honorable thinks is a disgusting perversion?
I would believe that's, I believe that's a very accurate description, Senator. Thank you for that.
Sergeant Major, can I ask you a question? You know, you both have talked about boot camp and getting at this early. One of the things, as you know, that the Marine Corps does very well in boot camp is it focuses on the history of the Marine Corps. You walk out of boot camp, if you can make it after 3 months, and you know about Chosin Reservoir, you know about Iwo Jima, you know about all those things, and you take pride in it. You know, General, I thought your opening statement about referencing 5 Marine women who were killed in action defending our nation. Do you think, Sergeant Major, that focusing on some of those issues with regard to our history and boot camp can start to set the culture on a more proper course to recognize that, hey, look at these, they're Marines, right? It doesn't matter if they're men or women, they died for their country. Could we do a better job of instilling that at the outset as we shape the outlook and minds and culture of these 18 and 20-year-old kids?
Absolutely, sir. The task force that the Commandant's put together, led by the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, we met a few days ago, and that's exactly where we're starting. We're going beyond that and starting at the delayed entry program. We're looking at everything we teach Marines, and we have to understand within ourselves, in a 4-year enlistment, 120,000 Marines would have gone in and out of the Marine Corps. 120,000. We would have turned over 2/3 of the Marine Corps in a 4-year period. And we need to step back after 15, 16 years of fighting, and we're still in that fight, and absolutely take a look at not only how we make Marines, from those who walk through the door and want to be something better than self, but also how we retain Marines and families with our ethos of honor, courage, and commitment. We're going to seriously take a look at that because the processes that worked yesterday, they're not working today because there are other societal ills that come through the door with every individual that come in, that the tools that we have are not being as effective as they need to be today. So we're going to take a look at from the recruiting of our Marines until the time they leave the gates, and also beyond that, ask the veteran support organizations out there to take a look at our motto, once a Marine, always a Marine. And every Marine that leaves out the door, tell them they're responsible for that Eagle Globe and Anchor. There's some bad actors that have worn the Eagle Globe and Anchor. They're determined to keep these things going. And we know this for a fact. And we got to do better with our ethos and find the tools, the ways, and convince those that come through the gates and those who, like you said earlier, who are thinking about coming through the gates. The mom and dads who are talking to their kids. I have a son at the Naval Academy. They left for spring break going to Orlando. My wife is she's scared to death. And I just sat down with the 4 boys in my basement and talked about this, talked about sexual assault, talked about the ethos of honor, courage, and commitment, the fact that one day they too are going to lead, and they may lead in combat. But first they must lead back here in peacetime, show that they're worthy leaders to go on and lead Marines and sailors in combat. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I'd like to be, proud if my daughter said she wanted to be a Marine, just like my son. I have to assure that I leave the footprint, along with the Commandant, that provides a way of safety for not only my kids, but all kids, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
On behalf of Chairman McCain, Senator Kane, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks to the witnesses. This is obviously a very serious hearing, important to have it. I'm the father of a Marine. I employ a lot of Marines in my office. My state is a state where every Marine officer is trained, every Marine security guard is trained, a lot of other Marines are trained and serve honorably. And I think I just can say on behalf of an awful lot of Virginians, this is a moment when this story broke that a lot of people's hearts sunk, a lot of people's stomach were turned. And this is This is absolutely critical to get right. You're completely aware of the work of this committee under the leadership of Senators Gillibrand, McCaskill, and others to tackle sexual assault in the military. And it's still very much an open proposition on this committee because the question about whether sexual assault or other crimes should be treated within the Uniform Code of Military Justice or separately is something that we've resolved for now to try within the chain of command. But we're testing the evidence. We're looking at the data to determine if that was right or not. And many of us, if we conclude that we're not getting the results that we want, even those of us who have supported chain of command in the past may conclude that it's just not sufficient. And it would be tragic for the Marine Corps if that decision were to be made because of a belief that the Marine Corps' bad example would cause us to make that.
All right, guys, just want to say thank you so much for joining us. My name is Molly Nivola, and I'm here in our studio, our digital studio, Fox 5 Live. That was Capitol Hill, the Senate hearing on the Marine Corps nude photo sharing scandal. Just for a second here, I want to bring you back to some of the footage that we have from today. There's New York City live right now. You can see the rain and sleet kind of covering that camera. We're going to switch it up for you in just a second and then wrap it all up. But just a reminder to tweet at us and use that hashtag. There he is, wiping off that camera lens. Fox5DC, that's our handle on all platforms. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, of course. And you can use that hashtag Fox5Live at any time to tell us what you're seeing today and tell us what you've enjoyed. Quickly, back to New York. In 1 second here. All right, guys, and we're going to bring you to another Governor Cuomo press conference. We brought you one earlier. This time it's in Dix Hills, New York. Take a look here. Waiting on that for now. We'll bring that to you when we have it.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3.
All right, guys, in case you are wondering, just filling you in on what we're looking at here, another press conference with Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York, this time in Dix Hills, New York. We're going to hear from him in just a second. They're waiting to set that up. While you're waiting for him, let's bring you a live picture of New York City. This is what it looks like. Still looking the same. A lot of rain and sleet on that camera, but you can see sort of Midtown. That's Radio City Music Hall. What it looks like now. Things a little more clear than it was this morning. The roads, it looks like people are getting about just fine. City life in New York, not as hit as the suburbs, but back to what is about to be this presser with Governor Cuomo. We'll wait for him, and then we'll come right back to you. And guys, while we're still waiting on Governor Cuomo, here's a shot outside headquarters of Fox in New York. This is still Midtown Manhattan, Midtown New York City, like we were seeing the, sort of that big wide shot aerial view almost of, but lower down, this is one of the photographers there towards the ground. You can actually see a little more snow. Looks like a little worse than I thought, or than we were thinking. So a lot of snow piled up on the side, a lot of shovelers. That is Midtown Manhattan currently, still as we wait for Governor Cuomo to speak.
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. Testing, testing. White balance check. Backlight check. 1 2 3 1 2 3. Testing, testing.
Hymn says,
Testing. Hopefully I'm not washed
first to
out.
fight
1 2
for right
3
and
1
freedom,
2. Test, test.
and to keep
Test,
our
test.
honor
How
clean.
does it look, Jim?
Do you believe you
1
in
2
our fight
3
to keep
1
that
2.
honor clean?
Test, test.
Absolutely,
Testing.
Senator, we have to.
Are you
1 2
committed to
3.
winning that fight?
I am.
1 2 3 4. Test, test.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I realize that so much of this kind of behavior has to do with some attitudes and culture, and it's very difficult, General Miller, to change the culture. So I'm wondering whether one of the ways that we can deal with this issue is to provide some deterrence. And would you agree that one of the ways that we could deter this kind of behavior is through court-martials where appropriate?
Senator, I believe deterrence is part of this, and there's got to be accountability, whether it be a court-martial or other processes, yes.
Well, in terms of changing the culture, I mean, how would you begin to even change the culture? This has been a long-standing, not just in the Marines, but issues that involve all of our services. So how do you even begin to change the culture when, for example, you have a commander-in-chief who exhibits certain attitudes toward women? How do you change the culture?
The only way I know how we've done this in the past, when we dealt with other issues, and we accept the fact, I mean, there are always going to be those that are going to not be able to adjust, and they'll have to be, that'll be addressed. But I believe that most Marines join the Marine Corps to improve themselves, that they're good and decent people, and they've got to understand that there are certain behaviors that we expect and that we recognize positively, and there's others that we do not. And part of that's having a discussion. It's got to start at the beginning. And it has to be modeled throughout the organization. And there are obviously those either who are not modeling the culture that we want, or they're even condoning it. So, as the Sergeant Major said, we're going to go back, take a look where it starts. For all Marines, it starts at recruit training, and it starts at officer candidate school. And we're going to look at how we talk about this, make sure they understand it. But as you say, at some point there has to be deterrence, because I would like to say we'd be 100% successful, but we probably will not. But for those that are not able to comply, there has to be deterrence.
So I'm assuming that you will take every step necessary to identify whether certain behavior were violated, and then to pursue court-martials, that you will do that very, very strenuously.
Yes, Senator.
I would say another aspect of all of this is that what kind of message are you giving to the current female Marines? I don't know how many women there are in the Marines, but have you brought everyone together in a way that the message gets to not just individuals who are undergoing training or during the recruitment process, but the current situation with all of your women Marines, and have you had any kind of a gathering of the Marines, both male and female, to talk about how this is totally unacceptable?
Senator, the only way I can address 185,000 Marines, or like today about 184, and there's about 15,000 women Marines, about 1,500 of them are officers, and 13,500 are chiefs, is for me to use my own platform on social media to tell them what's going on and what they should expect in their leadership.
But you're all, excuse me, but yes, that's you, but there are also all of your leaders on the bases, and what are they doing to get the message across en masse?
We have spoken.
All right, guys, here we go. Governor Cuomo is about to speak. We're going to bring that to you live right now.
Let everybody come in from the rain, literally. Okay, it's my pleasure to be here today with County Executive Steve Bellone, who you'll hear from in a moment, County Executive Ed Mangano. We have with us State Police Superintendent George Beach, Adjunct General Tony German of the National Guard, Suffolk County Police Commissioner Tim Sini, State Police Major David Candarella, Nassau County Police Commissioner Thomas Cumter, Town of Oyster Bay Supervisor Joseph Saladino, who was a former colleague of mine and has left us for Oyster Bay, but it's a great place and a great town, and we applaud him. Department of Transportation Commissioner Matt Driscoll, who you'll hear from also in this program, and Office of Emergency Management Kevin Wisely. Mother Nature can be an unpredictable lady, and she was once again today. The forecast for the storm were that New York City and Long Island would bear the brunt of it. That's what they had been saying for the past couple of days. We then deploy our resources depending on the forecast. So we deployed very heavily in the New York City and Long Island area. The storm actually tracked further west. So New York City and Long Island will not get as much snowfall as predicted. The snow is actually turned into more of a sleet and rain, and that is expected to continue throughout the day and into the evening. Now, that does not mean it is safe to go out. The roads are very, very nasty, and the roads are very dangerous. And we are still clearing the roads. Many of them are filled with sleet and slush, and it's very important for us to get the roads clean before the weather drops tonight and that slush freezes, because then we'd have a problem for tomorrow's commute. So there's been a very low volume on the roads now because essentially everything is closed, schools are closed, businesses are closed, and that actually worked to our advantage so we can get the roads cleaned for tomorrow. And that's what we expect. The Long Island Railroad has been operating close to schedule. It will continue to operate close to schedule. The storm moved further west, so there is actually more snow in the Mid-Hudson Valley and in the western part of the state, central New York, than had been forecasted. The Metro North operation, which is the railroad that goes to the Hudson Valley, that ceases as of noon today because the snowfall is so high that it's not safe to operate that Metro North. But the Long Island Railroad will continue. The New York City subway underground will continue. New York City bus routes are continuing. We do have very high winds. As we know from experience on Long Island, high winds mean trees fall, means branches fall, means power lines come down. And that is endemic to Long Island. Until we figure out a way to bury all the power lines, this is going to be a recurring problem. And with these winds, we have had a number of power outages. We have about 5,000 in Nassau. We have about 1,300 in Suffolk, last count. Hopefully they are not serious, and the majority of those people without power will be returned tonight. That is something that we want to keep our eye on. Obviously the temperature is dropping, and a house without power is usually a house without heat. So we're very aware of that circumstance. We've deployed over 5,000 pieces of equipment statewide, 2,000 National Guard. We will keep a significant contingent here on Long Island, but we'll also be redeploying some of that equipment to upstate New York, where the situation is actually worse, much worse than it is here on Long Island, and much worse than they originally forecasted. Once again, County Executive Bellone and County Executive Mangano have done an excellent job, and our teams have worked very well together. I hate to say it's because we've had so much experience working together in these types of situations, but unfortunately that is true. You know, extreme weather is a new reality. My father was governor for 12 years. I've been governor for about 6 years. I've had twice the number of federal disasters that my father had in one half the time. So there is something to the extreme weather. It is a reality. And luckily, we have superb personnel in Nassau and Suffolk. The first responders and the emergency personnel really are top-notch. And we have a good operation working together. So kudos to all of them. We've had some minor mishaps, but nothing serious. Again, I think that was because of the preparation, and I think because the county personnel did their job and people heeded the warnings. Let us clean up the mess that's out there now, and hopefully we're in good shape for the morning commute. But again, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Just because we didn't have as much snow doesn't mean it's not treacherous on the roads, because it is treacherous on the roads. Stay inside, watch it from through the window. It's pretty. It's not pretty when you step into it. With that, let me turn it over to County Executive Balone.
All right, guys, and that is going to be it for us today. Thanks again for joining us here on Fox 5 Live, right here from your nation's capital. Here's a little shot of the White House, what it looks like right now. We're going to close it down for today, but we will be back, and you can watch us soon, very soon, live right here on YouTube and the live platforms that you are using. Just remember, you can always tag us, tweet us, Snapchat to us, Fox5DC, use that hashtag Fox5Live. And just so you know, I am Molly Nivola here live in Washington, D.C. We will see you guys soon. All right, with that, we're going to fade to black. Bye, guys.